Today we are going to look at an issue that that has been happening on the computer, and people have had that kind of issue, and recently a friend of mine had it. It's called blue screen of death, BSOD, blue screen of death. If you look at this picture now, this is a typical blue screen of death. It's just a picture that I'm bringing forth on the screen for you to see. Now look at this particular, that is the driver that is causing this. By just looking at this, you cannot know which hardware this driver is supposed to power and is having this issue. You cannot know. It says manually initiated crash. Then this is your interest. This is your interest. You know, it's no other one, no other message here that is of interest to you. This is your interest. Address, blah blah, base at this, date stamp. Now those ones are not necessary. This is your interest. Copy this and paste it on Google. It will give you a breakdown of the hardware that this is supposed to power. Now once you get that done and you know what the hardware is, then you now can move ahead to resolve the issue. Now a blue screen of death happens in computer when there's an issue with your hardware, your drivers, the driver of your hardware, or a low level software. Now there is a difference between a low level software and a high level software. That's basically the two divisions of software in a computer. No, I'm not talking about application system and other kinds of software, but in a computer there's basically high level and low level software. Now if you have issues with your high level software, it will not result in a blue screen of death. Example of a high level software can be your Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, CorelDRAW. Those are high level software. But your low level software interacts directly with your hardware, and this can also be called your firmware, and those are the ones that drives your hardware. If you have issues with your low level software, it can result in a blue screen. Now a friend of mine recently had this kind of issue, and he just discussed with me and asked me what could be the problem. Every time he's about to boot into his graphics user interface, there will be a blue screen. Every time he's about to put in, there will be a blue screen. And he tried everything and it still didn't work. Now one of the things that happens is that, which I'm going to take you through on the program as we progress, when you have a blue screen, there's an error message, and if you use that error message and you search on the internet, you can actually know what is causing the problem. So what I did was that I actually typed the error message and searched on the internet, and I got to know that it was a problem with his graphics driver. It was a problem with his graphics card. So what I did was to enter save mode and uninstall that driver. And once that was done, he was at least able to boot into his graphics user interface, where he's now going to try and see how he can maybe get an alternative driver and be able to drive that particular hardware. So when you have a blue screen, a blue screen of death, one of the first things that Windows attempts to do is that it will restart automatically. Most of the time it will not even wait for you to even see what is the error message that is showing you. It will just restart. So one of the things you need to do first of all, before you even start troubleshooting on blue screen of death, you have to disable automatic restart in Windows. You have to disable automatic restart. So once you do that, you realize that once you have a blue screen, it's going to wait for you to be able to see what is causing it. You take note of the driver that is causing the problem, and you can then begin to see how you can do it. For you to disable automatic restart in Windows, whenever you're having the blue screen, for you to disable automatic restart, you go to where you have the start menu, right click on computer, click on properties, click on advanced system settings. Advanced system settings. Then you click on system startup, system failure, and debugging information. So you click on settings. Okay, if you come down here, you're going to see system failure, write an event to system log, automatic restart. You can see it's unchecked. That means that on my computer, if I have a blue screen, it is not going to restart. It will just wait for me to see what is happening. So I uncheck this. So you have to keep this unchecked. Then you click on OK. And click on OK. So that will ensure that when you're having if you get to have a blue screen, your computer will not restart. It will always wait, and you will be able to know the driver that is causing the problem. You'll be able to know the hardware that is causing the problem, and that will help you to resolve the issue. Now, one of the first things you need to do after you must have read the error message is you have to go to your event viewer. Now, your event viewer is actually a tool that comes with every single Windows operating system. Event viewer tells you every single thing that is happening on your computer. It tells you, every single activity, every single error, every single event that comes up on your computer, and lets you know what is causing it. That will be how you will be able to start troubleshooting most issues on your computer. So first of all, let me show you how you can access the event viewer. For you to access event viewer, you go to start menu and type in event viewer. Okay, can you see event viewer? Can you see event viewer up there? You click event viewer, and now event viewer will enable you to see what has been happening on your computer. Your interest is not on this part or on that part. Your interest is on this part. You can see event type, critical, error, warning, and other kinds of events. You can now know what's actually causing. You can see information, audit source, audit failure. So if you click on error now and double click on this message, it will tell you all the errors that have happened on my computer. So you can see error, the date, the source, event ID, and task category. So if I click on error now, it tells me that session Microsoft Windows setup stopped due to the following error. So if you have a blue screen, it's going to be listed in event viewer, and you will be able to know how you can stop that problem. You know the hardware that is causing it, and you can actually troubleshoot it. I'll close this now. Now the next method that you can be able to know, you can at least get to know what is causing the blue screen of death, is by using a third-party utility that is called Blue Screen View. Blue Screen View. When you use Blue Screen View, it will give you that message, and you'll be able to bring forth what caused the problem, and from there you can then troubleshoot and know how you can stop it from happening again. So you just go to Windows, you just go to Google and just type Blue Screen View. Just type Blue Screen View, and you can then download the utility and run it. So I'll just run it from my computer. I've already downloaded on my system, so I'll just show it to you. For you to use Blue Screen Viewer, Blue Screen View, for you to use Blue Screen View to know what is happening on the computer, first of all you download Blue Screen View. The first thing you do is to download Blue Screen View. I'm just going to run it on my computer and show you how it is. So you go to, I'll open it where I saved it. happening where I saved it. Okay, now if I double click, this is the blue screen view. Now if you look at this, now I have not had a blue screen on my computer in a long time, so there's not going to be any entry on this software. But if you had a blue screen, you can actually bring it up from here and know all that you need to know about that blue screen. You can see it will tell you the dump file, it will tell you the time that there was a crash, it will tell you the bug check string, it will take you the bug check code, it will take you parameter 1 up to parameter 4, it will tell you which driver caused it, it will tell you which address caused it, assuming that you were on a network environment. Then it will tell you the file description. It's a very good tool. So when you have a blue screen and you have the file that is pointed to have been causing that problem, with blue screen view it can describe that file for you to know, okay, this file belongs to a graphics card, oh, this file belongs to, you know, this hardware or that hardware. So it would tell you exactly which hardware caused it. Then from there you can uninstall the hardware, or you can buy another one that is working properly. So this software is very good. Now, for you to resolve the problem now, the first thing you need to do is to do a system restore. For you to do a system restore, that means taking your computer back to a date when it was working, you know, perfectly. We have treated system restore on every day with a computer, so if you missed it, you can get online and get that video and look at it again. It's been treated here, but I'm going to run it over so that in case you missed it and you may not have access to internet immediately, you can at least, you know, see what is happening. I'll not be as detailed as I was then, but let me just take you through. For you to access system restore, you go to start menu and type in system restore. This is a straight route to that. I don't have to go through the long, just type in system restore. You can see it up there, system restore. So I click on it. Now you can see it says restore system files and settings, so I click on next, and you can see that from 17th the restore point was created on the 17th of February, 24th, another one on the 24th, the 2nd of March, 3rd of March. These were restore points that were created on my computer. So I can actually restore my computer to this date. And if I do that, every single driver I had installed will be gone. So I can just click on next, and it will say confirm your restore point. I'm not going to run this on my computer, so it says confirm your restore point. Click on finish. If I click on finish now, this computer will restart, and it will attempt to move me back to this particular date, the 17th of February. Every single thing that I had done between 17th of February and today, every driver I had installed, every software I had installed, it will be rolled back to whatever happened on this day. The files I created will still be there, the pictures, the videos will still be there, but the software you installed will not be there. It will not be there. That should be able to resolve the issue. I'm assuming that you can access your graphics user interface, but if you are unable to access your graphics user interface, what you need to do is for you to go through save mode. Now for you to go through save mode, you will restart your computer. You restart your computer and you press F8. You press F8 as it's booting. So once it gets to once you press F8, it's going to bring forth your boot menu, where you can actually click on, you can just roll your mouse and get to where you have your save mode, and press your enter button, and it will boot into your save mode. Once you get into save mode, you are going to see everything just as you would see in your graphic user interface, but it's not going to be as beautiful as you see in your graphic user interface, because many drivers are shut down in safe mode, many drivers are disabled, many drivers are kept on hold in safe mode. You will not be able to you will not be able to see your graphics capabilities in safe mode. So what you need to do is that you can then follow this same step I have showed to you in running safe mode. In running system restore here, you can run it again in safe mode, the same thing I'm showing you here. So that's about resolving it through system restore and through safe mode. I've taken you through system restore, and I've told you that if you cannot access your graphic user interface, you can actually access it through your safe mode. The next thing you need to do is that you need to update your drivers. Keep your drivers up to date. Keep your drivers up to date. Just make sure that you have the latest drivers. If your drivers are not up to date, there's a tendency that it could have some issues. There's some malware that can be able to easily infect your drivers if they're not up to date. So you have to make sure that your drivers are all up to date. Another thing you need to do is to check for hardware problems. Check for hardware problems. How do you do it? There's a feature in Windows 7 that is called Action Center. It's called Action Center. Now, so what you now need to do is for you to go to your Action Center and you now check for solutions. For you to access the Action Center, you go to your Start menu and you type in Action Center. You type in Action Center, then you click on it. Now it will open up and tell you the actions that you need to take on the. It's supposed to. My Action Center is supposed to show here where you have to check for solutions. I have not had blue screen on my computer, but it will display here, and you are asked to check for solutions somewhere there. So if you run it on your computer, you're going to see it that way. So if I click on this, you can see check for solutions for problem reports on. So it may not run on my system because I have not had any of those kind of issues. So once you click on check for solutions, it's just going to check for it's just going to run the way you are seeing it now. Check for solutions, and it's going to come up with likely things you can do to resolve the blue screen. That is, if you have a blue screen, so it will come up with such suggestions. So I'll just close this now because I have not had anyone on my system. So, but this is what you should do. The next thing you need to do is that you need to get a quality antivirus. Now, when I mean a quality antivirus, I mean it's an antivirus that has ability to not just to scan on the surface, but it can scan deep into your low-level software. You can scan deep into your low-level software, because there's some viruses that can go deep into your low-level software, and if that happens, some viruses can also cause a blue screen of death. So you have to get a good antivirus and run on your computer to be able to fix this problem. Then finally, if all this is done and you are still having a blue screen, if all this is done, then you might have to reinstall your Windows. You might have to reformat your computer and reinstall your Windows operating system, where every single driver, every single thing will come fresh. So you might have to reinstall your Windows operating system. That will mean you're going to have to back up your computer, back up your files, back up the things you've been doing, and run run the Windows operating system again. You can still repeat the same operating system, doesn't matter. But just have to know that this might be the last option for you to exhaust. And if you run your safe mode, if you have done your system restore, you have updated your antivirus, you have scanned your system for viruses, you have updated your drivers, and all this is still happening, then what you now need to do is to reinstall your operating system. So in conclusion, blue screen of death happens, and it has happened to me so many times. It's happened to people I know and people I have consulted to many times, and most of the times it looks as if there is the end of it, especially if it happens constantly and reoccurrently. So, but it's actually very easy to resolve. So if you follow the steps I have showed to you in this program, you can resolve that issue. Now, if you have missed this particular video, or if you have missed other editions of Everyday with a Computer, you can get on our website and just view them and look at them again. So with that, you can be able to know how to get some things done on your computer. You can be able to optimize and maximize your computer. So I'll end there for today, and I hope to see you again next week. We'll be here the same time, the same station by next week, Saturday morning, and I hope to see you again. So thank you for being around. God bless you.